today's video, I'm going to teach you how to add and subtract fractions. So the idea is to understand a fraction in the first place. A fraction is a whole cut into parts, and obviously depending on how many parts we have gives us the fraction. So for example, we've got a pizza and it's cut into 3 equal parts. Each part is 1/3 because our pizza is in 3 parts. So we'd say that one part is 1/3. Now, let's look at how we might add 1/3 to 1/2, for example. So if I have my pizza, same size pizza, only it's cut into 2, and I want to add 1/3 to 1/2 and find out how much pizza I've eaten. Now, looking at the picture, we can approximate, but it wouldn't give us a great answer because they're separated into different parts. When we add them together, it's difficult for us to see what the answer might be because the parts or the denominator of the fraction are not the same. So what we do here is we look for equivalent fractions where the denominators are the same. In other words, we say, well, what multiplier can I use which goes into 3 and 2 so I can cut the pizza into the same number of parts and be able to add them together? Well, if I cut my pizza into 6s, that means, let's try and use a different colour. I'll have 2 6s here. So that is equivalent to 2 6s. And here, if I cut it into 6s, I have 3 6s here. Now, if I look at the actual problem here, I now have 2 6 plus 3 6. It's easy for me to see that altogether I will have eaten, if I eat 2 plus 3, 6s, which is 5 6. Look, we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6s of the pizza. Where am I going with this? Well, what I mean is when we add or take away fractions, the denominator of those fractions have to be the same. So what you're trying to do is look for equivalent fractions to enable you to add them together. So for example, 2/10 plus 1/5 can only be added if we convert one of the fractions to have the same denominator as the other. Now in this instance, it's easy for me to find an equivalent fraction to 2/10 with a split into fifths by halving this fraction. I'm not changing the quantity, I'm just finding an equivalent fraction. So this, if I halve this fraction to be 1/5 and then keep this fraction the same, 1/5, altogether 1/5 plus 1/5 is 2/5. And it's easy for me to compare. Similarly with subtraction, if I had 8/10 and I want to subtract 1/5, well, again, luckily I've got even numbers. I can convert this to an equivalent fraction, which is 4/5, and I can say 4/5 take away 1/5 is 3/5. Okay, so it's once the denominators are the same, you can then subtract or add, depending on what the question's asking you, the numerators only. And that's pretty much all you need to know with adding and subtracting fractions.